Welcome back to Cosmoteer. My name is Nilaus and I will be your ship architect today, and we have some interesting designs for you today. It's about an overhaul. It seems like every other episode we are doing an overhaul, and then between that we tweak and tune and optimize the systems. I like that. You take a big step forward and get to a new potential, and then you spend some time on optimizing that potential to make it really just work. And we have this beautiful ship. Let's go into a build overlay and remove the UI so we can have a look at it. Let's talk a bit about what my intentions are for this, because first of all, it's going to be bigger, but it's also going to be better. It's going to be better in two different ways. I mean, bigger is better in itself, so maybe two other ways. One is I will be making specific modules that you can then lift and put into your own ship, more or less, I guess. And it also means that with modules, we can optimize crew very heavily and make sure that they stay within the area. And I specifically assign the exact number of crew I want for a specific task, instead of having a large floating crew base. And I know there are some comments on this about go like, oh, you're maybe overcomplicating it by doing this and this, but it means I don't really need a lot of crew because I specifically assign them. If you have like a big floating crew in the base here, then the crew here, if they are not hard assigned to something nearby, then if there's no task for this one right now, they'll just pick a task up here, and they will not change until they have made it all the way up here and completed a task, and then they'll get the next task. So it's very important that that we assign specifically the logistics crew to the ones that are close, so that they don't go too far, because it also works in the way that if they don't have a job right now, they will just revert back to their crew quarters. As you can see right now, they're just standing in their crew quarters, not doing anything. And then when they go out, so you want to make sure that when they get a task, that task is close to where they actually want to do some work. And yeah, that's basically the essence of it. So let's talk a bit about the design part. What is it I want to change in terms of design? Well, as I said, we want to make it bigger, so we need to use all the material, all the size we have available. We'll move it up and then see if we can sort of get it here. But I want to make different modules. We'll have the railgun modules. You can see we already have two railgun modules. They are identical. We have like a front part. I don't want to change it. It's not good, but I don't want to change it. I have like the missile wings. It's working. It's okay. I don't want to change that. I want this engine cluster. We'll have multiple of these. This will be optimized. Then we'll have some kind of side wings clusters here, and we'll optimize also down here. Because what you can see here is all of this is kind of one area, and they kind of, the crew is kind of floating down here, and I don't really want that. I want them to be sort of boxed in, and then we can also have compartments that if they blow up, they only lose that part because it's sort of separated from the rest. Cool. Well, one thing as well is that if I just whoosh it away, then suddenly it'll be like 4 hours of design work that we whoosh away. So I'll try to sort of show part of the design by just first making a sort of what's called exploding diagram of this, just splitting it apart, and then going into a bit of a essence for each of the modules, and then we can start. So the first thing I want to do is I want to make this sort of the new framework of just sort of generally how I want it, because I want some thrusters here, I want some thrusters here, and I want a rear thruster here. So I want 3. Let's do a shout out to a fellow YouTuber, a thruster cluster here, and although I wouldn't probably call it engine room in my case, but and then we'll sort of get the framework of how it's gonna look. And of course, if you are enjoying the series, this is a good time to hit the like button, and if you are not subscribed, then consider subscribing as well. And if you just are just aching to do more than that, you already liked and subscribed, then I also have a Patreon should you feel so inclined. Right, let's start splitting this apart. So at this point, I've basically broken it apart into the segments that I want, and what I want to do is I want to design first an engine cluster here to make sure that that is something we can work with, and then potentially have multiple of these. So this is my new engine cluster, and I am really happy about it. So first of all of these are now sort of aligned with each other, so it's 6 wide. The front ones are going to be booster thrusters, so I can reverse quite rapidly. The ones that move forward is backwards facing, I guess. They are just big ones, so move. And we have a medium reactor core that feeds into 2 engine rooms. We have put the control room here because I'm going to have 4 of these locations. So with 4 control rooms, we should be good to go to sort of support the entire ship, I hope. And we are putting a little hyperdrive here because these locations will be strategically placed on the ships, and therefore it'll probably be a good place to have the hyperdrive here. We have all the crew quarters. If we just look at it, this takes 2, so these go in here. This takes 2, so this go in here. This takes 3, so that one and that one goes in here. And then I have 2 plus 2, that's 4 left for being the logistics to handle all of this. Do I know it works? Nope, I have no idea. But I hope it works, and then we'll give it a shot. The one thing I don't really like, that I would like to change, is that I would like to have the control room right next to the reactor so that they can fuel it faster. Because I am kind of worried that if they that might have to do sort of priority for the logistics, saying that fuel for the control room has to be higher priority for the engines. I can live with the engine stuttering a bit, but I can't live with the control room shutting down, because if I then fall below my control, then I just don't have a ship moving. So this is going to be it for that little module, and this is like a really crisp module, and you are welcome to use it. And then the idea is also that I can then do this one, because then it's going to be as close as it can do. I don't know if this is, I think this is possible. Let me just try this again here. I think this is okay. Like, this is as close as we can make it. But everything is, of course, illegal. But this gives us a sense of what it's going to be like. I will be reviewing, this will also be, but this will only be backwards facing because it's just too far to the front to be, I don't want to have forward thrusters exposed to the front, because that's where we're going to be taking a beating. So I just basically want, if you accidentally rotate, hit backspace, and then it kind of works. I'm going to take basically something like this part and then copy it and then paste it here. That okay? I think maybe. Basically something like this, so that I have my my thrusters also facing downwards, and that basically takes care of the thrust for this part. Then it's about figuring out how to attach these things together. I'm not going to be changing the front, so this is okay, and then we'll just need to something here. Then what I want to make to move forward with is the rear thruster and the rear part of the rail gun, because I know that can be optimized as well. So let's take a look at this and then see what we can how we can improve this. So this looks kind of different right now, and it's I think it's a lot better. This will be for ammo, this will be for sulfur, and it's now a completely blocked off room with a single airlock and also a single fire extinguisher. We have the crew. I have gone maybe a bit up on the crew here than compared to what I would normally do, but I feel this is my most important one. So if this somehow runs out of ammo, that would be really stupid when it's right here. So we have 2 crew for each. So this one assigned here, this one assigned here, this one assigned here, this one assigned here. These 2 will be logistics crew together with these ones. So that means I actually have 8 logistics crew to operate the factories. I'm pretty sure it's too much. I think 4 would be sufficient, but it's also to feed the backwards facing point defense systems, which isn't really going to be operating very much, and it'll just be topped up between combat, and then once in a while it might shoot at a stray a stray missile or something. So I'm leaning towards this is too much logistics crew, but you know, this is what it looks like right now. So we'll keep it like this. The next thing we want to do is then integrate these parts to make it sort of have a clean end here, because we do know exactly how big we want the ship to be. We want it to be like this, and have a armor set on the outside, and then on the inside here, that's the armor set for the rail cannon here. So this one also needs to be its own little cluster, and it needs to be with a big shield generator here. So let's see if we can integrate that. So this is now the rear cluster here set up. I have put the big engines here on the side because, as far as I can tell, there should be room for it here on the side as well. So we definitely want to put those in here. We have our engine room, we have our medium reactor core, and to this point, if someone goes like, oh, you actually don't need this one. Yeah, but this is 3x3 and this is 3x3, and that's plenty. So it also means that like the cost in terms of additional enriched uranium doesn't really matter at this point. It's one of those things where with this game, it's like, yeah, it's just a matter of, do you want to spend an hour grinding and farming stuff? Yeah, then yeah, sure. I don't want to compromise at this stage of the game with how much power or what ingredients we use, because it's just not worth it for me to try to optimize a cheaper build. It doesn't matter for me. So that's where it's going to be. It's aligned to the sides. We have 2 crew assigned to the engine room. We have 2 crew assigned to logistics. That shouldn't be too much because it basically just 3 things that will need to be firing at any given time. So that should be okay. So that was all the back part. So we can start seeing we have more of the stuff pieced together by now. What we really need to do is now figure out how to do the sides. First of all, we probably need to sort of attach things back into the middle, because we need to figure out how long the ship is by extending our rail cannon system to the proper length. So let's get that one, and then right now we'll just fill it up with storage, and later on we can just move it into factories or whatever else we want to have in that area. So with this, we now put the middle of the ship back together, and we have a pretty impressive railgun cannon here, 288% on our damage penetration, not range because it maxes out at 600. And what is it? Railgun damage penetration, range, projectile speed. Projectile speed is also nice because that means we're actually hitting what we shoot at before they move out of the way. Well, with this one done, we can take our cluster. What are you doing? We can take T, that's what I want to do, that cluster here, and I can take that out because now that is a cluster we can use. I want to make this is as far down as I can make it, because if I go in here then it'll overlap with that location, so I'll build it right there. This is not like super critical, it can be built wherever we want, but it's still, what makes sense. And this cluster as well, this is probably going to be the less easy one to build, and let's see, that should be like this. Yeah, so it fits. So now we have all of the thrusts also been added. Actually, we will need some extra thrust out here, but we do need to sort of design our way into what this is going to look like, and I think that we'll start with use this as a baseline and then basically go something like this, and then we can cut this up here so that it connects smoothly up here, I think. And then we'll need to make some kind of thrusters on this side. I think I want to have to make sure that there are bubbles of big shields all the way down. So let's give that a shot. I also want this kind of thing at the bottom as well, so it kind of has a collective idea to it. And now with the side parts also designed, then we actually have something that looks like a complete ship, and it's actually buildable, no longer infeasible in any way. Let's walk through a few of the features here, and very much so there are many things that I built a structure and I'm not super happy about it, but that's something we can do later. Let's just mention some of the things I don't like. I know that there's a gap here, but it looks nice with these spikes here, but there really shouldn't be a gap. This part is completely useless, just having some storage, but this will be a factory. This will be like nukes, prisms, whatever, but right now we just make it as storage so we get sort of the framework of what the ship is going to look like. Here there's a lot of dead space as well. Let's look at the good things. We have our module here for the missile. It's pretty much unchanged, like small tweaks, but it now fits quite neatly here. There's a nice line here that's protected by the super shield. There's a little gap here with lack of super shield that I don't really like. I think we'll take this out as well, because that's kind of just risky. Then we have all of our engines encapsulated here. That's really nice, and I think I like it. What we have here is the little engine module. Here's another engine module that's basically the same, but this one also has thrusters inwards. I think that's a really good idea. I can't do it for this one. If I really wanted to look at something, I probably would say this module should just be copied up here and then take the missile base and put in the middle here. That would probably be better because there's no reason for the missiles to be towards the front of the ship. Now they can go further back. So those are kind of the things that I definitely want to tinker with in the future. But for now, it's about getting the sort of the superstructure in place, making sure that we get all the crew assignment, the product assignment, all of those things in order. And we're actually somewhat ready to build this. What I think I'm kind of missing is that we have PDFs, pretty good PDC. God damn it. PDC coverage at the back. These shields are kind of weirdly overlapping. Oh well. PDC coverage at the back, pretty good. PDC coverage at the front, but lackluster at the side. We'll definitely have something here. We could also put something there. That's definitely also things that we want to do. But there'll be continuously tweaks. But right now it's about sort of getting this structure and see if this thing even floats and how many crew we need to build this. So I think at this point, well, I can make it so. Let's make it so. There we go. This part, by the way, should probably be just this kind of grid, just in case. Just because it looks weird not having anything there. And we'll build just this one right now. Cool. So now comes the next big thing. They're going to be a complete mess of trying to figure out where they live now. This is also one of the things that I really enjoy about this is setting up stuff like this. So with the way that we've done it, we now have small setups that should be much easier to control. So what I'll do is we'll go through how I want to control it. So let's take this little cluster. We're going to have someone for engines, someone for logistics. There are someone assigned here. Then I'll go to this one and say, engines, you'll be assigned to this one. Logistics, you'll be assigned to this one and that one because someone needs to bring in the Hyperium. There is also a point here. I do not have Hyperium in local storage, so they'll have to sort of go out as they did here, go up and bring Hyperion in from there and come back. But that's because I don't care. It'll be filled up, and then once I warp and then I arrive, then they'll top it up, and that should be fine. That should be in a safe spot, so no problems there. So that is the crew flow. Then I do the resource flow. That goes from this to this to this to this. So now no one else will do that. And then we just do the same thing for the other ones. And I really enjoy this part. This is kind of one of my favorite parts about the part. It's just setting it all up so that it works there. And then these will be like that. And then we'll do the crew assignment. This goes in here. This goes in here. And these are also assigned. This will go into these two. And that one as well. And anything else? Not really. And this logistics will also go into all of this, but they'll try to sort of stick it to the side, one side towards the other. And then on the resource flow, this will be feeding into, all of this and also into all of that. This doesn't require any power. And then we can just continue with this. Let's do the engine room because that's also one of the key points. And let's see. So we will get you and you. Yes, they will be over here. You and you will be for the engine rooms, and you will be for the logistics. And we'll assign logistics go to here and here. And the resource engineering crew, they'll be like this. And then of course I'll have one too many engineering crew because I'll have 4 in here. Or at least there should be. Yeah, 2 plus 2. So one of them will be idle. That's okay. You can hopefully help with other stuff or maybe do something else. So this is also assigned that one. And then we just continue to do that for everything so that everything is reassigned. It's not really a big task beyond that. That and that. And you go in here. And also to that one because, yes. And you go in here. get the crew, the power assignment. There we go. And that's just takes care of it. And once this is done for everything, then everyone will be working everywhere very, very smoothly, I hope. And then we'll see how with final crew will be. So let's I'll just patch that up. I'll also set up all these. You can see here. This is kind of a mess. Like, I don't want sulfur here. Yeah, we'll definitely be setting this one up in a more structured manner. So let's do that, and then we can see if we take the ship out for a spin. And we should also see that things will be more stable here. And the ship is now ready to go out for a spin, and it's going to be exciting to see how this works. So a few things to note. We'll go through the different overlays. Can I do that from here? No, I have to go out and go there. So the crew overlay is not particularly interesting. It's actually more of, well, actually the crew overlay here. As you can see, there's a lot of arrows back and forth, but they're all very much contained. There are no arrows stretching too far. The biggest mess is up here, and this is definitely something we want to deal with. I definitely want to have something that is like the front will just be for shields and PDCs, and then I'll have the like a middle thing for deck cannons. I'm still loving my deck cannons because they do not take out the front. They can be placed in the middle of the ship, which means that they don't sort of expose the front to some cannons. That's what I have a problem with all the other cannons, so that's why I like the deck cannons for all their weaknesses. This definitely needs to be optimized as well. But that's not what we're going to do now. Same with the missile parts can be optimized. So that's the part. And if we look at the resource flow, that also is a bit of everything here. And also if we look at without this, you can see I have now set up like a vast storage of steel for either side. I've just put this one as steel because, well, that's what we're going to get. It's actually steel is kind of valuable. Kind of valuable. You will actually get quite a decent amount of steel to... yeah, steel will sell for quite a bit, I think, isn't it? Ammo is pretty miserable, but steel's okay. Yeah, 12 for one, but ammo is horrible. But 12, that's fine if you have, in my case, what do we have? 10,000 of it? Yeah, it's something. And it's something we'll always be picking up. Plus, this ship is pretty expensive should we need repairs. But I think we're at a point where we really need to get out and give it a shot and just see how it works, how it performs. The first thing is, how fast is it? It also has a tendency to steal planetary platforms. If we can do this. Look, we're stealing the platform. It'll have a tendency to pick up stuff and then bring it along. I think we can actually just steal this one. You're coming with me. Yep. It's a little ball we're bouncing around. Oh no, it's running away. Anyway. And someone has been cleaning out this whole thing on a live stream, so that's very nice. What we then need to do is figure out we need to go to a more difficult one. And yeah, probably not that one. Probably not. Let's take here instead. This will be Sigma system. Yes. Okay, let's see if we can find a Sigma something system. That's the one. Let's go there. And let's go speed up, and then we'll take a look at the ship as it is moving. Can I look at it from a build menu? Yeah, here. And these are just corrections. They are definitely firing all the time. That's good. And we want to make sure that there is an extra guy here. See, this is the one I really wish that wouldn't happen. Like when this is thrusting and that is thrusting, that cannot be effective. Like I wish it would use the steering, would use the side ones for steering instead of using the reverse ones for steering. I don't know if anyone knows a way to control that, if that's like center of gravity or that kind of thing, then, but I would much rather have these out here being used for steering. But I guess beggars can't be choosers. But it seems to be working. Oh, there we go. It's slightly running out of thrust here once in a while. Whoops. Oh, we bumped into something. That's interesting. Okay, so there might be like a little room for optimization here, but this is only when we're just firing at full thrust for extended periods of time. Another thing that I had to do, you can see they're flying out. Oh, that's an awful noise. Yeah, that makes it even worse. Okay, you can see that they're flying out. Why are they flying out? Because I'm actually putting my hyperdrive in here in the middle Otherwise, if we look at here, okay, I'm just going to pause that because that was an annoying sound. Look at how good coverage it is. Hyperdrive efficiency is super nice, but it wouldn't be possible unless I did it in here. And it's just one of those things where I don't really care about it. I mean, when we do hyperjump, it's going to be so rare that we hyperjump that if they have to go out and do this once in a while, then so be it. And we're at 98%. There might be one thing that... Okay, nope, it's good. 117 is also quite a lot. So, wish. And the speed was about like 75-ish. Let's call it 75-ish. That's pretty good when we're moving. And we're now in a completely new system. This is like 10 to 12, so that is going to be challenging as well. Let's go to a station and see if we find something on our way, and then test out the system for... how it works. I don't like the fact that we see some things that are unpowered. Okay. I wonder if they unpower while you're in hyperspace. I guess they do, and then they just need to power up. Okay, let's see if we can find some new higher level enemies in this area to test out our new ship. Now, it doesn't have any better fighting capabilities. It's just purely bigger and more cumbersome. Alright, we got the first contact. We have no idea what we have here. Let's say we have now 24 forward-facing thrusters, so we should be able to be running away pretty efficiently. Let's check. That is only at fire at target. We should be good on the actual fighting capabilities here. We're just gonna go in. Speed-wise, 70, 74, 34, 5, 74. That's a pretty good speed. Pretty good speed for a massive ship like this. We can tweak it a bit to get a bit more. Alright, what do we have here? We have an Unrush. And we also have something else. Unrush is a giant missile ship, but it has armor and stuff, but it doesn't really have much. If we just go for something like this and then go for that, we'll blow up all of the... Like, down the middle here, it doesn't have enough armor to protect. You know what? Who are we kidding? We can cut through the entire thing. And then let's try to keep out of distance. That is just hitting the B button because we're now at range. And then we are ready for rotating. Alright, we just killed all of that in the first barrage. And that takes out all the missiles before they are able to do anything. And one more time. Wow, it's... There we go. Yeah, I mean, as long as railguns are the way they are, we're pretty healthy against this. And we can see that the rail fanning works really well. The power here is okay. If we want to just really optimize for sort of continuous shooting of the rail cannon, then we'd have to add more crew. I don't think that's a problem. We have plenty of crew available, so not really too concerning in that regard. Let's claim the stuff and then find some more on the way to our first interaction or our first quest hub. We have the next contact. This is more interesting. There are 4 contacts, so that means probably smaller ships, but still they're probably not level 1 ships. They're probably like level 6 ships or something like that. I don't know how it figures, but I think level 10 to 12 is means that it can have... I would guess this is 4 level 6 ships. And there. It is not. Okay, well that's kind of not underwhelming. But some of this is probably... These are just fodder for us to waste shots at, I'm sure. But we'll try to keep our distance as well, as usual. There we go. And the next... Yeah, see, there is a bastion here. That will be the actual enemy in this area. Look at that. Move. Let's see if we can move away from this. We can. Yeah, our rail cannon has also gotten a little bit better, so it does have a tendency to slice things up pretty efficiently. And we have the last one coming in here. Okay, that's an unset, not an unrush, but an unset. So this is a bit smaller. It's still going to get the same treatment as usual. Rotate, rotate beyond. Come on. Alright, rotate the other way then. There we go. Oh, and we have someone behind us. Is that going to be a problem? Not really. I don't think you're coming in, are you? Let's actually look at this. So here is another. I kind of think I need to take you out, and then I'll just mark this one for coming back for some loot. And here, so what I've done in terms of my storage is that every part of my storage is now dedicated. That means I will always be picking up everything, but I'll only pick up ammo so I fill up my extra buffers. I feel that that's much better than clicking this button and then selecting, deselecting, that kind of thing, because that's just, it's not really helping. Ooh, a fire steel. That's an that's an interesting ship. Oh, that's gonna be so bad if you are not. Oh, that's super bad. Okay, let me just. Okay. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I just ruined you. Oh, that's so bad. Don't run away and expose your bridge to a rail cannon. That's just bad times. So the good thing about this is we can also just request everything here. And we can just take everything and it'll fill up this massive storage of steel. And we have then dedicated storage for pretty much everything here. Like Hyperion has dedicated. I've mirrored on both sides because we have way too much storage at this point. So this storage is of course way too big. But we'll need to build factories and I don't know, something in here. Maybe engine rooms to do sideways thrusters. I don't know what, but we'll definitely use the space for something and then use this for sort of armaments, fire prisms, and whatever. We'll find out what we want. And this is also where you can throw it in and go, hey, how about building something, and then I'll go, sure, let's do that. What do we have here? That's just a gold, so let's mark that. Not that I really need that, but let's head on back to this mission hub and see what kind of missions we get. If it's something that will give it a reputation. We're at 2200 reputation. This part here. Oh, I also need to talk. Here we visit this, don't get anything, and then we have rescue station, rescue station, rescue station. Oh really? It doesn't give us out. And then destroy monolith cooperative base. That's really weird, because I really want to. Yeah, this is weird. Like, why are we? I don't know. I kind of want to go to war against the Centauri Imperium, but now we have quests from them, so I don't really know what to do. We can do these kind of quests. Apparently, we can do quests for them. And yeah, I don't know. I'd like to go to war with one faction, and if we look at this, if we look at this line, it looks like the Centauri Imperium is probably the best one to go to war with. So maybe we'll just do the quest hub here and then go to war with them afterwards. In this segment, we have 20% presence of the Centauri Imperium. So maybe that's something. I think that's going to be a good thing for us to do. I think that we are actually seeing it pretty well. That we're doing the ship is doing what it should be. Now, of course, it's pretty much exclusive to the rail cannons doing the work, but that's also kind of the intention. There we go. And we don't have enough other armaments at this point to be relying on not relying on it, because the ammo or the missiles are just not good enough. They're just not doing enough, and the deck cannons are not consistent enough. So right now, man, right now this is how it has to be. We'll be getting other armaments as well, and I've been testing a few things. I just went into like the biggest zone just to see what kind of enemies there are, and yeah, they are not easy to take out. They're not they don't die this easily when you go into the higher level zones. So that's definitely something. So we are maybe a bit over leveled for this area, but we need something that can sort of sustain, let's say, a couple of big ships at the same time. Not actually like 10 small ships, because that's they won't really deal enough damage. But like 3-4 big ships will actually give us a big problem. Or just some small ships with disruptors, and then some other things with, I don't know, lasers or something that can just wreck our front, because our front is pretty weak. That's just the way it is. We are definitely all about the Alpha Strike. Right, so we have now claimed this part. We can continue to sweep this around. And is there... Let's rescue a station instead. And then see if that is going to be a little bit more of a... It's probably not going to be a challenge at this point. Alright, coming up on this mission here. And I hope we can make it in time. It's under fire, this station here. So hurry up and get in there. Get in the mix. And... That looks like a station. Oh, no, it's breaking off to come against us. That's good. There we go. And I will be the usual part. We'll just be cutting straight through here. And I feel that we're maybe in a bit of a rush with this. Good, so keep moving. Mark that one and then keep moving forward so we can take this out. Oh, wow, that sucks. You are... deeply embedded in here. There. We took that out. And then we have a little ship out here that's not really doing much. Okay, that's a little station that got entangled. We'll see if you can untangle yourself. Yeah, you're probably not going to be the most dangerous thing, but I just want to make sure that I don't cut it to pieces. Yeah, I don't think you're going to make it. And pivot. Oh no, it's okay. There we go. Right, we liberated the station barely. I think it took one hell of a beating, and this is now a what are these? There's something of sun, cabal of sun. Sure. Faction conflict. We don't want to take those. Steel delivery, explorer. Sure. Good. So we have liberated this station. We now have some loot to claim here. Oh, that's a lot. That's a lot of fat loot we get from this location. I kind of want to make sure that we do not end up with our lasers cutting through the station and therefore maybe getting in trouble with the locals. Also, 73, 75, 80 outbound for looting. That is brilliant. I like that. Cool. So I think we have seen what we want to see. I am super happy about the ship, but now we also have the framework for improving it. That means I would like your ideas for what we should use the space we have available. What should we do? Should we do tractor beams? Should we do ion cannons? Should we do nukes? There are plenty of good ideas that we haven't explored yet. And I basically at some point want all of it on my ship because of course I do. Also, if you find some glaring flaws with this design, then by all means. And if you say the flaw is it's not going to work against level 18, that's like, yeah, but I'm not fighting level 18, so you know we'll get there. It has plenty of room for improvement before we need to get into more difficult foes as well. So thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate all the support for this series. It is super cool, and I really enjoy just tinkering with these designs. This game has much more depth than I had first anticipated. So thank you very much for watching. Until next time, take care, and as always, stay effective.